Out. That's what did it.
I recorded a little too late for that one.
You guys should go to
I
couples
had my
therapy.
fun tonight. I'm signing
Maybe
off.
you. Why do you daven there? If it's the,
That one would have made it to the
if it's the inbreeding for COVID, why do you daven there, Jesse?
Now I don't have to worry. Then
Hold on,
I
who
should have
said
been more careful.
Jesse's
I
not
think you guys should go to
inbreeding.
couples therapy.
Jesse's into
I'm just
inbreeding.
waiting until you give him a membership in your place. He's waiting for the invitation.
Who?
Jesse.
I daven there during the week when I can go.
I'm saying Shabbos, make a good kiddush with masks, and he'll come.
Kiddush with mass is a dietetic kiddush.
Right. That's Kirsch special.
What do you mean? It's the Yom Kippur Kiddush with suppositories.
Okay.
Where are we starting from?
Who says we're starting?
I'm trying to get that rolling.
You guys are big from the payment.
Where are we starting from? Kufam base.
No, I know that. I meant to a where, and I know the bottom over there. Amud Rav, or earlier than that.
Naftali, we're doing Pesachim.
I mean, there's no bottom of this Amud.
Yeah.
There's 8 lines.
Isam b'nei Adam. 3 lines up from the bottom. Yeah, we got it.
Yes.
Okay, so Isam b'nei Adam shekitchu b'beis haknesses, right? So you got those people that make kiddush and shul. Any of the local shuls still do this?
I'm told the white shul does it.
The
White shul still does it Friday night.
Shari does.
And the shul that we used to daven in Paris, they do it. They do it also, but I'm not garish them, so it doesn't matter to me if they do it or not. They don't have any minhagim of Klal Yisrael.
Yeah.
Another private counseling issue.
We used to do it, but we stopped because of COVID.
Oh, what, because of COVID?
Kiddush on Friday night.
What does that
right?
do with anything?
Passing out the kiddush?
Yeah, I'm
saying they don't drink, they don't eat and drink in the shul, so they don't do things. So there's no food in the shul, so they don't make kiddush on Friday night in the shul.
Oh, I hear. Okay, but anyway,
and we're hoping not to have it come back after COVID.
What do you mean? For Carrot, you would say this is the time when people aren't inviting guests over. You should make kiddush and shul.
Right. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, there was a minute to make kiddush Friday night in shuls. It seems like there was the tour is very anti.
Yeah.
The tour is very anti.
The shul I davened in growing up made kiddush. I think they still do, but they made kiddush every week.
Yeah, so it's a whole tumult. So the question is, what's the deal with this kiddush? Does it do anything for anybody? Right. So somebody Adam shekitchu b'beis haknesses. So those people that make kiddush in shul. Amar Rav, yedei yayin lo yatzu, yedei kiddush yatzu. According to Rav, the yatzu yayin, meaning the butter priya gofen is good enough, and then they could go make the butter priya gofen wherever they want. They don't. They can go drink wine wherever they want. Yedei kiddush yatzu. I'm sorry, what did I say? Amar Rav, yedei yayin lo yatzu. They were not yatzu yayin, meaning if they go someplace else, they have to make. Once they leave there, they have to make a new bracha. But kiddush they were yotza. The Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says, af yedei kiddush lo yotza. Even kiddush they're not yotza. Why? So okay, so once let's just finish the Gemara first. Ela Rav lamelei lekidusha bebeise. So according to Rav, if they yotza kiddush, so then why are you going home and making kiddush again? So the answer is pasha kidei lahaitzi banav b'nei beisai. That's because their wives and the kids have not heard kiddush yet. Okay, but Shmuel lamli lekadusha b'beiknishta. So according to Shmuel, that they're not yotze kiddush. So why are you making kiddush in shul? It's coming to because they're guests who are eating and drinking and sleeping in the shul, right? So then, okay. So let's stop there a second. So So basically, the machlokes is whether you're yaitza, according to everybody, you're not yaitza yayin, meaning you got to make a bracha on yayin. When if you're going to go drink wine someplace else, you have to make a new bracha. Right? That's pashut according to Rav and to Shmuel, which we'll see that on Amud Beis.
There a mitzvah of drinking wine on Friday night, or it's just the fact that you have to make a bar gafen if you want?
No, this is talking about even for this is nothing to do. This is nothing to do with Friday night. It just happens to be it was Friday night. Stam, when you make what we're saying is you make a bracha bar gafen in house A and you move to house B, you're gonna have to make a new bracha.
Got it.
Right? So
Even if you have in
that.
mind?
So
Are you moving?
even if you have in mind, yes, even if you have in mind, that's going to be on Amud Beis. We're going to see on Amud Beis. But we do learn something from this. If you look at the Rashbam, look at the Rashbam, the second Rashbam from the bottom, Yedei Kiddush Yatsu. Yeah, you see it? Afa pi shaloi shasu. Even if they didn't drink, they Yatsu Kiddush. The Kaimelon Damakadosh Tzarech Shiyitam. The one who's making Kiddush is the one who has to taste. And if only one person drinks the kiddush, everybody is yaitza. Everybody should at least try and drink a little bit of wine, right? And they don't have to make kiddush again in the house. Seuda. Okay, that's that part is we're gonna get
That
to
one
now.
person has to drink a revius?
Yes. So what you see according to the Rashbam, and many people are not aware of this, especially those that are on the diets that they can't have wine, can't have grape juice, or diabetics, or this, that, or when one's wife is in nida and they don't want to worry about the whole passing the wine thing because they're embarrassed, blah, blah, blah. Right? So, Lamaisa, me'ikar adin, only one person has to drink the wine. It's better if everybody drinks, but it's not a requirement. Right? Yeah. So anyway, so that's the first thing we learn from the Rashbam.
Yeah, but someone has to drink.
Somebody has to drink. Somebody has to drink and has to drink a revius. There is a third sheet that the Rashbam doesn't bring. There's a third sheet to broaden Shulchan Aruch. What do you say?
Everyone joins together.
That as long as combined everybody has a revius, then that's also okay. But that's not that's a much more of a bidiyah.
So why did they on a separate? So why do they always gave the kids to drink in the shul one? What was that?
Because that's exactly right. Why are they giving to the kids? Because there's no bmakom seuda. So your kiddush is not a good. It's not. You're not yaitza kid. That's the big issue with this kiddush. You're not yaitza your kiddush because it's not bmakom seuda. So if you're not yaitza kiddush, you can't drink. Right? Kiddush needs to be bmakom seuda, which is going to be the next sugi that we're going to learn right now. But if you don't have kiddush and bmakom seuda, so you're not yaitza kiddush. So how can the adult drink the wine? Adult is not allowed to drink the wine because he's not having seuda. Right?
So the adult is just stop making a bracha for a kid that doesn't want to drink the wine to begin with.
Hence the poskim that don't like the kiddush in shul.
Sure.
Right? That's mamish. Yeah. That's one of the issues. Yeah, that's exactly it. Right? Okay, let's see weiter, and we'll see this whole sugi kiddush bmakom seuda. Okay, so
I'm sorry, just one more question. I'm sorry. Is this where we know that yayin is chashuv enough that you'd have to that you because you're not yotze yayin, meaning that just like it's on the same level, like you could be firstly you could be kovei seuda on yayin very b'diavad, right?
Right. Well, we're gonna get to that. Yeah.
Okay, but for yayin, if somebody drinks wine in one place, right, and they go somewhere else and they remember they didn't make a bracha achrona, they can't make a bracha achrona in that new place where they are. They have to return back, right?
Correct.
Right.
So that's why, that's gonna be on Amud Beis.
No, but I'm saying, like, where's the havamina to think that you would be yotze yayin to begin with, or is there like why even bring up yayin? Like, why would you think that there's a havamina to think that maybe you would be yotze yayin?
What I mean, because of the shina makom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's wait till Amud Beis, because Amud Beis is going to discuss it. Yeah. We'll see it on Amud Beis, and then I don't know if that should answer your question, but if not, then we'll discuss it on Amud Beis. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So you see the 5 lines down from the bottom, from the top. So how come Shmuel says you're not yotze kiddush? Shmuel and kiddush el bmakom seuda. Kiddush is only bmakom seuda. Right? Now, what's a pshat? And ain't kiddush bmakom seuda. There's another rush palm that we have to do. The first rush palm on the summit. Right? After the kiddush la yotzeg the prashin and tamil kamei ain't kiddush el bmakom seuda dichsiv based on a pasuk. The karasa la Shabbos einig. You have to call Shabbos as einig. But bmakom shat the kaira la Shabbos, which is kiddush, right? That's what you do. You be mekadesh Shabbos. Klaimer karya the kiddush when you're calling it, when you're making it kaddish, Shabbos kaddish, sham tehei einig. That's where your einig has to be. Umedershu, and then that's a medrash. That's one reason to have it. Inami svarahu. It's a svara. Svarahi. It's a svara. Mid the ikva kiddush ala yayin kidatani la kamon. Zechrei ala yayin mistam ala yayin shubishas seuda hukva the chashuv. Right. It's only going to if since the chacham misakim that you always have to be mekadesh the days Shabbos and Yom Tov with yayin. So mistama, it's yayin that's by the seuda, not just stam to make kiddush, because it has to have a chashivus to it. So there's 2 reasons that the Rashbam brings.
So why are these orchim? Why are these orchim yotze with it's good? It's a good kiddush for these orchim who are sleeping in the shul.
They're going to eat.
They're going to eat in the shul and sleep in the shul.
They're going to eat and
this
sleep.
This kiddush is good for them, assuming that they're going to go wash right after.
Right.
Oh, what's
that's
that?
what
Very
they
good.
Even though the kids are drinking.
Right. No, my stomach there. I don't know. I don't know what happened, Taka, back then with the kids drinking. But you're bringing up a good point, which is going to be the next Gemaras, because if they made the kiddush in the shul and they went downstairs to the social hall or
the room
to drink, so is that called kiddush b'makom seuda? Right?
Well, that Reb Yaakov, that you have the question by all the shuls on Shabbos morning where the rabbi makes the kiddush by
Correct.
the bima, and nobody eats there, and they all go downstairs. Yeah.
Correct.
Every shul does that. Every shul does that.
Yeah, I know. So that's a big issue. Okay, that's going to be the next Gemara. Yeah, it's a big issue, right?
Yaakov, if the Rashbam quotes a pasuk, a song of the daf, does it count or no?
100%. We've been a little. It's been a little dry with the song of the daf. We take whatever we can get, right?
Well, parrots, you should use my Purim song. I'll let you use it. I'll let you use it.
If the Rashbam would quote it, we'd use it.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so again, that's what Shmuel is saying. Ein kiddush el bmakom seuda. But the next line in the Rashbam is also important, which is Eliyahu gets into what you were saying. Ein kiddush el bmakom seuda. Ve'im kiddush v'lo sad. If you made kiddush and you didn't eat, but oisem makom in that place. Lo yotze yedei kiddush. You're just not yotze kiddush. Finished. That's as if you didn't eat kiddush. Now, if you weren't yotze kiddush, you're not allowed to eat. Right? People make this mistake. They think, oh yeah, I'll just make kiddush. And I take my drink, and then I'm going to make kiddush again when I get home. No, but that's very nice. But you weren't yotze your kiddush, so you can't drink the kiddush. Right? If you're not going to have kiddush with seuda, then you're not going to be yotze. You're not going to yotze the kiddush. Right?
So what's seuda?
Oh, what is seuda? That's a loaded question. We'll see weiter. How do you define seuda? Very good. So let's see weiter. So Savar Mina, back in the Gemara, right across from the top, right where the word Rashbam is back into the Gemara. Savar Mina, Hani mil bibayis lebayis. That's only from, meaning when are we saying that kiddush has to be b'makom seuda, and if it's not, then it's a problem. That's when you go from house to house. Meaning that's not called makom seuda. I mean, you make kiddush in one house and you go and eat your seuda in another house. But from one place to another place in the house, there we don't have an issue of kiddush makom seuda, because that would be considered makom seuda.
So why not in the shul? It's one building.
So that's the thing. So if it's in one building, let's see weiter. But that's what the Gemara is thinking right now. Right now the Gemara is mechalik, saying from room to room is not a problem. Right? So Gemara says, Amar lahu Rav and Rav techlicha zimna sagiyan havakimna kamei deshmuel. Many times, right? We were in front of wherever we were with Shmuel, benachas mi'igral ha'ara, and he went from the upstairs to the downstairs, v'hadam mekadesh, and he made kiddush again, right? V'af Rav Huna savar ein kiddush al makom seuda, and Rav Huna also held the kiddush al makom seuda, the Rav Huna kaddish, because Rav Huna made kiddush v'is achrona sharga, and then his candle got uprooted and it went out, right? And he took his utensils to the chasana hall of Rabbah, his son, where it had light. The kiddush midi, and he was mikadosh and he tasted something. Because he made kiddush again, right? So the over we have two that said if Rabbah sover ain't kiddush al makom seuda. The Rabbah also said ain't kiddush al makom seuda. The Amar Rabah ki avina b'mar ki have a mekadesh when we were mekadesh Amar lon teimu midi, taste something dilma adaz lisu lo shpiza misakru sharga, because maybe if you don't eat something here, then by the time you get back home, then the lights are going to be out. V'loy mekadesh l'chu bebeis achila, and you didn't make kiddush in the place where you're eating. But kiddush adachal lo nafkisu. And the kiddush here, you're not yodze, the ain't kiddush el bmakom seuda, because you need to have kiddush bmakom seuda, right? So first thing you see is what is this? They seem to be very taken that you can't eat in the dark, right? Why couldn't they eat in the dark?
Is that shalom bayis? That's why you have the candle.
Yeah, so no, that's what it is. Meaning correct. So that's what it is. For Shabbos, it's important to have the lights on, and you shouldn't eat the seuda there without lights, right? So that's exactly what they're saying. But the point is that we have three rayas. You're going to be yotze. Even if you're just going to go to sleep and not eat, that's what he's saying to them. You're still not yotze with kiddush because you didn't have kiddush makom seuda. So therefore, you have to taste something. Now he says teimu midi, taste something. Now what does teimu midi mean? Right? Yeah. So okay, I don't know if we should do it in the right order here. Okay, let's see that Tosfos. Look at the Tosfos teimu midi. The fifth Tosfos down. Teimu midi taste a nira dahainu teimas lechem. Tosfos, and that means it has to be bread. Kedamrinu beperak gimel deshvuas. Kedamri inchi nitai midi va'azi va'achli v'shasu. Vim mayel mine targima lahashel gimel seuda Shabbos kamay b'sukkah. Hainu dafka b'seuda shlishis. But if you want to use food other than bread, that will maybe work for shalosh seudas. Avaloi b'seudas arbis v'shachos shehem ikar kavod Shabbos. The ikar kavod Shabbos is Friday night seuda and Shabbos seuda. So therefore, that has to be bread. Maybe shalosh seudas, he's saying.
So what's kiddush in shul? When we had kiddush, when we had a shul and we had kiddush every week, right. What was that? That you couldn't do that?
Do what?
You
could, but you weren't yotze seuda.
Oh, okay.
You could, but you weren't yotze seuda. You'd have to go home and wash, which is what everybody does, right? Right? It's a good thing the seuda doesn't have to be l'teyavan, though. It's a good thing the Shabbos day seuda doesn't need l'teyavan. Otherwise, we knock out all the kiddushim, right?
When you eat a piece of kiddush cake, you're not yotze your seuda, but you're allowed to eat it, right?
Yes, you're allowed to. Not adrabah, but you have to eat it. You have to eat it. But from Tosfos, it's mashma. He told him to eat midi. It's mashma that he told him to eat bread. But Tosfos is coming from the other angle. Tosfos is saying because he told him, okay, you might go home and the lights might be off, and therefore you're going to go to sleep and not going to be yotze seuda. So that's what Tosfos is saying, bread. But that doesn't mean that Tosfos is saying that mezainis is not considered seuda for kiddush b'makom seuda, which is the way Shulchan Aruch paskins. Shulchan Aruch paskins that mezainis does work, right? The problem is, what about kiddush b'makom seuda on Pesach, where most people don't have mezainis, right? So then you have already, like you were saying, you have the wine, right?
Drink a share of wine.
You have to drink. So then that's a machlokes whether it needs to be an additional revius or even your original revius works.
Yeah,
But
aren't
even
you drinking
that
a
is
revius?
shtick
You're
with
drinking a
the evidence.
revius anyway.
Yeah, we have to have
No, you
double
have to
revius.
drink right revius. To be yaitza kiddush, you only need right revius. To be yaitza kiddush, you only need right revius, not a full revius. So some say you just drink the right revius together with another revius, and others say no, you have to have two revius. But either way, that's more of a b'diavad, right? And the Gra was anti. The Gra held kiddush bmakom seuda has to be with challah. The Gra said no mazinus. Mazinus is not called a seuda.
So what's the answer for Pesach?
It's a problem. The best thing to do is to drink another revius, which is not an issue for many people, right? The shilas, because potato kugel work, these things, there are shitas that hold that it does work.
Who holds potato kugel works even during the year, not just during Pesach?
There are shitas like that. I don't know if it would work during the year, but shasat chak, there are those that say it. I don't remember offhand who they are.
Maybe Lokshan kugel, which is Mazonis.
Yeah, but how you
But
getting
it's
that?
hard
I
on
mean,
Pesach. It's pretty
Not on
difficult.
Pesach.
Yeah,
Not on
Pesach.
Pesach. He said the whole year.
no, but sometimes no. Listen, I don't know why every hotel has to advertise no gebrachs, right? I don't know. Many people do eat gebrachs. Like, what's the gross of frumkeit? If you eat gebrachs, so you make with a cake with matzah meal, you have no issue. It's only the anti-gebrachs people that have the issue.
You're already talking reason.
What?
You can't talk reason with people like that.
Right, I hear that. Okay, but yeah.
But like the guy, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, like the guy that says that you have to have kiddush bmakom seuda. You can have kiddush, you can have your cake, right? But you still have to make kiddush again when you sit down to eat. Not the right, not that you can't have kiddush and whatever.
No, I think he says that in it. I think he says both. I think the Gra says both.
What, that you can't have a kiddush and shul like with cake, and then go home and
correct. You need to
kiddush
wash
again.
You need to wash them. What? Yeah, because what comes out is according to the Gra. I think it's the same thing. It starts from that. According to the Gra, you have to have bread. So Mamela, the kiddush and shul didn't work. Mamela, the kiddush and shul didn't work. So you have to make kiddush when you get home.
Oh, but it didn't work, and you can't eat. And it didn't work, and it's not your seuda. And then
so that's the thing. So I think what you're getting at is that many people, even though they heard, even them and their families went to shul and they heard kiddush,
right?
They get home to be makayim the gra, they make kiddush again.
Again, right? Okay.
But it's interesting because I think they're taking the gra from two ends, meaning by the kiddush and shul, they're not going with the gra, right? Because they're eating cake. When they get home, because they want to be choshesh for the gra, so therefore they say that you make kiddush again.
Does the gra allow you to do it in shul? Well, the gra says you can't do it in shul. You're not allowed to have it.
I have to double check. From what I understand, the gra held you cannot do it in shul unless you wash.
So if somebody makes kiddush in shul on mazonis, according to the gra, it's a bracha l'batala?
Yes. Not a bracha levatala. It's not a bracha levatala. You're just not allowed to do it. It's like eating without kiddush. It's not a bracha levatala. It's like eating without kiddush.
And then
your kiddush is no good.
And then according to the other shita, if you heard kiddush and you just make a shahakal or a dama, it's the same problem.
If
the
you,
not challah, right?
Yeah.
Meaning someone who after makes a kiddush just goes and eats, whatever, a piece of licorice, or not licorice, a sour stick. They have the same problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a problem. Yeah, it's an issue according to So
I think we should have a show and tell kiddush, and then everybody can ask their questions then and there, and we can all drink and eat whatever we want, and then ask.
Yeah. Now, so then the next text also brings up an interesting. So we said that it seemed like they had an issue with eating in the dark, right? So Tyson says the next text is kiddush da'acha. Tyson says, why weren't they concerned about eating without a ner? He says because the next day they'll eat three seudas during the day instead of at night to be yaitza. Right?
Maybe it's a din in being satiated. Is there such a thing, Shabbos, you have to be satiated?
I don't know.
I'll tell you where I'm coming from.
Because the minhag of for sure is like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the first mission in Shas, right? The Ani goes in, he's the earliest shita because we want to give him a little bit of light because without seeing what he's eating, he'll never have satiation.
Right. Yeah, correct. I think that's what it is. Right? Yeah, I think that's if you don't have light, then it takes away from the whole geschmack. Yeah.
Not even out shalom bayis. It just takes away from the geschmack.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so let's see. So I think that's the basic tumult with the kiddush bmakom seuda.
Sorry, one last question. Kiddush bmakom seuda. Does this apply to Friday night and Shabbos day the same?
Yes, Friday night and Shabbos day is the same. If anything, Friday night is more.
You didn't touch on making kiddush on. You didn't say anything about making kiddush on scotch.
Okay, but that's not this sugya. That's the chamar
What do you
medina.
mean? If you could be seuda on that, meaning if that's all you're going to have at the kiddush.
It's just scotch.
Yeah.
Liquid
First of all, you have to know whether you can make kiddush on scotch in the first place.
If you can,
so
that's
that's sugya, and then we have to come back to here.
Okay. Right. So I mean, chamar medina. I think you'd have to have at least the revius, if not 2 revius in it, and then that works. Right? As far as I know, it would work. Right? I don't know why the island doesn't make. How come nobody makes kiddush on beer? Once we're on that subject. Shabbos morning. I don't know. It's an interesting thing.
Okay, can we?
Lots of pesa.
What?
Can we do it on beer and Shabbos?
Why not? Wasn't it in beer and schnapps?
Okay, and 8 ounces much. I'm sorry, 8 ounces of beer is much easier to drink.
1 second. So you're into that. So what about why not a coffee? Coffee's also chamar medina.
Because why not a coffee? Yeah, you ever seen anybody make kiddush on coffee? People make havdalah on coffee. Nobody makes.
No, I
remember my father making havdalah on coffee.
Why would you make kiddush on coffee when you have schnapps?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's just an interesting thing. Schnapps became a kubbel in the Welt to make kiddush on. Every other chamar medina, no.
There was a famous Maisa. They asked a certain Rabbah they kiddush on milk. The dollar.
It's a brisker Rav.
Yes,
that was a brisker Rav with the dollar cost.
That means he didn't have any meat for Yontif. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now during COVID, that milk is more plentiful than water. I don't know if it's possible to make it on milk.
Parrots, you can be yoitz about sheet. As Adam Clayton Powell drank scotch and milk. That's what he drank.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Rabbi, nothing goes with herring and crackers better than schnapps. Coffee doesn't work.
Okay. That's what it is. Then fine.
What it is.
I hear. The shaila is, can you drink something before you have your bmakom seuda? That's also a shaila. Right? Like, can you drink, then you're thirsty, right? From the whole davening. So before you eat the cake, you want to take a drink of soda or something like that. Can you do that? Or do you have to first be mekayim your bmakom? You have to first be mekayim your seuda.
Meaning you make kiddush and then you want to drink something else like water before you, or something like that.
Correct.
Before you eat.
Correct.
If it's all sitting there and all prepared on the table, then why can't you drink something else?
Because you weren't yet mekayim your bmakom seuda, so your kiddush was not yet a seuda. I think it's fine. I think from what I remember, it's fine, but I didn't look it up. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So let's see.
Hey, was that different? I asked you. People want to drink Friday night before kiddush because it's very hot outside in the summer. You said no.
Correct. That's a difference. Yeah. Well, you're not allowed to drink before kiddush.
So that wasn't what you're talking about now.
No, here I'm talking about after kiddush. You want to drink before.
After kiddush, before the seuda. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I was by Rabbah once, and he was clearing when he made kiddush, and at the meal and challah. As long as he ate challah, I think he said we could eat anything from the meal as long as we eat challah at some time during the meal. We didn't have to eat it right away.
What do you mean? You have to eat it right away. It's the bracha.
I think if he ate, he made the bracha. We said amen. If he ate, he said we can eat fish first before we eat challah. As many years ago,
very good, Martin. That's why we need to have the candle on.
Huh?
He said he was the one that made the bracha. He has to eat, and then we can eat as long as we eat challah during the meal, if I remember correctly.
Okay, I don't understand that, but okay. Okay, let's see.
Challah together. What's the sense in that?
What? I guess. Okay, so let's see. Aini, it's not true. Right? So this Gemara we have a few times. Rabbah did everything like Rav. The Bar Mehanitz last the Ovid Kishmul, except for these three things they did like Shmuel. Matirin mi beged lebeged. He took tzitzis from one beged, put it to another beged. And he lit from one candle to another candle for Hanukkah without using. He went directly from one candle to another. And the Allah was like Reb Shimon by dragging a bench. The Tanya Reb Shimon on the ground on Shabbos. The Tanya Reb Shimon Aimer. You're allowed to drag it on the floor. As long as you don't have kavanah to do charitz, right? That's Reb Shimon's famous shita of davar she'eino mischaven is mutter on Shabbos. Whatever it is, Rav here holds that you are yotze kiddush, right? Rav does not require kiddush bmakom seuda. So if we're saying Rabbah paskins everything like Rav, so how come here he's going like Shmuel and he required kiddush bmakom seuda when Rav really should be going like Rabbah should be going like Rav, and Rav does not require kiddush bmakom seuda.
So,
yeah.
Would you want to talk about why one's wife doesn't make kiddush in the house instead of the husband Friday night and Shabbos morning, or not?
I don't know what
because he davened Friday night, so he was yotze kiddush midaraisa, and then he had kiddush, and then the guy in the morning, Shabbos morning, the guy had kiddush. He had 6 kiddushes, but he's come big stark. He's coming home to make kiddush for his family. Why is he making kiddush for his family? Who needs him? She should make kiddush. No?
And a chanami, she could. I think you're right.
I know women that do.
That's the whole thing. What are you saying?
I know women that one of my kids. She'll get up, she'll make brachas, she'll make kiddush, and then she'll have a coffee. Why should she eat before davening? Yeah. So she'll say brachas.
I understand that, but I'm saying for the family, maybe she has a bigger chiyuv than the husband.
There's a bigger halachic issue. Right, there's a bigger halachic issue. Friday night, the man.
Friday night's here.
Right, the man's yotze kiddush deraisa.
Versus the Rabbanon. Right.
Yeah, right. So that's that whole sugya. Okay, but as I think we should get to that later in the parak, actually. But whatever it is, so the Gemara's kasha here is that Rabbah always went with Rav, and Rav holds you don't need kiddush bmakom seuda, and we just brought a story that Rabbah does hold kiddush bmakom seuda. So Gemara answers, "Kechumri de Rav hava ovid." He went with the chumras of Rav. Kekula de Rav lo hava ovid. He didn't go with the kuls, right? This is the source for those fruma people that they only go with certain paiskim lechumra. They don't go lekula, right? This is the source right here. So Rabbah only went with Rav's chumras. He didn't go with Rav's kulas. Fine. Now we have a new sheet of Rabbi Yochanan Amar Af Yidei Yayin Nami Yatsu, even Yidei Yayin Yatsa. Vaz the Rabbi Yochanan Tamei, meaning he holds that Shinei Makam works even for Yayin. So Vaz Rabbi Yochanan Tamei, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Bar Abai Amar Rapadas Amar Rabbi Yochanan Echad Shinei Yayin, ve'echad now on Talmud Beis ve'echad Shinei Makam. Ain't tzarach levarach. You don't need to make a new bracha. That means he holds you could take wine, drink it in one house, go to the other house. You don't need a new bracha. So meisvei. So they asked the kasha on him. Shinoi makam tzarach levarach. If you change places, you need to make a bracha. And shinoi yayin ain't tzarach levarach. And shinoi yayin, you don't need to make a new bracha. So you see, meaning shinoi yayin. What does shinoi yayin mean? Right. So Shino Yain means if you have a different type of wine, then you don't need to make a new bracha. We'll get back to that in a minute. But point is, it says Shino Makom Tzarech Levarach. If you change places, you do need to make a new bracha. Tiyufta de Rabbi Yochanan Tiyufta. So that's a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan, and that's a kasha. Now, if we turn back to the Tosfos on Amud Aleph, also I don't want to have. I've avoided using the word important tonight, but it's a Tosfos, right? That. Shino, so what does it mean? Shino yayin ain't tzarech levarach. So you had yourself some grape juice, and then you had yourself some other wine. So you don't need to make a new bracha, right? So, but Tosfos says, miu, the bottom Tosfos, miu hatoiva meitiv tzarech levarach. You do need to make the bracha of hatoiva meitiv. Meaning, if you had grape juice or you had your Concord Cal or whatever type of wine, and then you decide to have more wine, different type of wine. So we're saying that you don't have to make a new bracha. But Tosfos says you have to do a toiva meitiv. And then Pirush Rashbam, now there's a lot of qualifications in order to be able to make a toiva meitiv. So the first one is right there, the next line in the Tosfos, because he says Pirush Rashbam is dafke hechad meshubach min arishan, That's only when the second wine is better than the first wine, right? And then he goes to others that say the same thing, that if the wine that was brought in was better than the first wine.
How would you know that? I mean, if you make kiddush and grapes, then you know everything is better. But the guys who drink different kinds of wines, how do they know which one is better?
I have no idea.
You got a wine review book when you.
No, I'm saying it's
what you like better. Maybe it's subjective. If you like the other one better,
I don't know. I don't know together. Is it price? Does it go with price?
I don't think it's.
No,
I don't want to pass in front of the Rabbah.
I don't know. I don't know. Does it go with aromas? Maybe it goes with aromas.
No, I've heard that it's very subjective. That if you like the wine better, then you could say a tova meitiv. It doesn't have to do with price. It doesn't have to do with whether it's red or white necessarily. It's your perspective of if you like that wine better, you can say a tova meitiv.
So why weren't you drinking it to the beginning? That wine.
Maybe you didn't have it. Maybe you were letting it air out.
You don't want to guzzle fancy wine on it.
No. It's very important that you brought that up.
Taser said you could make kiddush on worse wine.
That's a good point. I'll answer the
question. Maybe one's mavashal, one's not mavashal.
No, forget that. What are you bringing that up? What's that have to do with anything?
What do you mean? It's better not to make a non-mavashal wine.
We're talking which is a better wine.
There's a pasha to answer. You can't make hatoiva meitiv if you know that the wine is there. Hatoiva meitiv only works if somebody surprised you with a bottle of wine. Because otherwise, if you know that the wine is there, that was your haguf and went on that. It's not considered a new bottle. That's what I'm saying. It's very rare that you have hatoiva meitiv, because that means somebody has to come over to visit, or somebody brought wine and you didn't know about it, and then they bring it to the table. Otherwise you can't make hatoiva meitiv.
Wait.
Tiago, can I put you on the spot? If I surprise you with a bottle of wine, will you make a hatoiva meitiv?
I will make an asher yatzar because I don't like wine. But
it's champagne.
Even champagne I don't like. Just if I have to drink on Purim, that's what I'm going to drink. That's right.
And you didn't.
I did. Friday night I drank Friday night.
Please just repeat the last thing about that tova meitiv. About
that tova meitiv, according to most poskim, if you know about it, then it doesn't work. Now some say though, if it's in a different room and it wasn't around and you had nothing in mind, then it's okay.
You just make another bear per guffin.
Well, meaning it's the same gather. Just like if you knew that there was wine in your house that you hadn't, right? When you were saying here that you make kiddush, and then you decide you want to have another wine, we paskin that you don't make another bear per guffin, right? That's the way it is with all brachos, unless you didn't know anything about it. So Taisus is saying that hatoiva meitiv you would make it, but hatoiva meitiv has to be where you don't know about that new wine. That's one thing, and then the other thing that Taisus says on the bottom is that if it's just you alone drinking the wine, you can't make a toiva meitiv, because a toiva meitiv means two people. It's toiv and meitiv. So you need to have two people. If it's just you alone, then you don't make a toiva meitiv either. So basically, there's a lot of qualifications for a toiva meitiv, and you got to make. If you're going to make a toiva meitiv, you better make sure you know the halachos as well. I had one situation where once a guy came in the middle of the seuda. He came in and he brought a bottle of wine, but he used the Eruv on Shabbos to bring it in. So I wasn't throw that into the mix while we're at it, right? But and that was mamash a scenario where I thought that you should make hatoiva meitiv, and I was too nervous that I wasn't sure of all that, if it fit into all the parameters, so I didn't do it. Some other people at the table did it. I didn't do it.
I don't think about having a boy. You have tova meitiv. You say
right. So a boy, if the couple is there, then you make hatoiva meitiv, not a shechiyonu. Yes. Anyway, so those are the qualifications.
You know what wine is coming, or just that new? If you don't know what type of bottle it is, but you know the guy has a special bottle, then you can't do it also.
I'm not sure. But Mastama, you could. Right? Because
you
it wasn't around.
Bottle I'm bringing in. You know, I have a special bottle I'm taking out.
Right. See, that's another thing. If you're a guest at somebody's house, so how come we know that we paskin that if you're eating dinner by somebody else's house and they bring you out to face vegetables, salad, right? Now you don't have no idea what's coming out for the main, and then in the main they bring out the potatoes. So you don't make a hadama. Oh, you didn't know about it. So we say you're bottled to the das of the balabais. So if you're sitting in somebody else's house and he brings out a nice bottle of wine for dessert, you're bottled to his das. So you can't, whatever it is, it's not pasha. You gotta, but whatever. But theoretically,
bias could not make that over native in that case. Maybe
correct, because he knew about it the whole time. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so now we slug him up. Now we're up to Shina Mokum. So 3 lines back on Tomah Beis, 3 lines down from the top. So Yosef Rav Idi bar Avin Kamedu Rav Chisda. Yosef Rav Chisda v'Kamer Mishmedu Rav Huna. Hadam Rachinu Mokum Tzarot Levarach. This that we said that if you change place, you need to make a bracha, a new bracha. Meaning, if you're sitting in your house and you have a drink, and then you decide to go to your friend's house, then you have to make a new bracha. Lo yishanu ela mibayis lebayis. That's only from if you go from house to house. But from one place to another place, within one house, you don't need a new bracha, right? Amar le Rav Idi bar Avin, Hachi Tanina lebe Masnisa devei Rav Hinik, Bamri lebe Masnisa devei bar Hinik kavasech. We learned like that. Vel Rav Huna Masnisa kamashalan. Is Rav Huna coming to tell us a brisa? So the Gemara answers, Rav Huna Masnisa lo shmiya. He never heard of it. He never heard this brisa. Fine. Okay, so that's but that is the way we paskin, that if you're within one roof, if you're under one roof, then you do not have to make a shina makom. So if you live in an apartment building and you go from one apartment to another apartment, so there it's not as pashut because you might say going from one person's rishus to another. I mean, if you're in your own house, you go from basement to the first floor to this back, so then you would not need shina makom. You don't need a bracha because that's considered under one house. But when you're going from one apartment to another apartment, not as simple. But Lamaisa, the poskim say that that's also considered. It's not a shina makom. You don't need to make a new bracha.
Could we use the Gemara from 2 weeks ago about the Rabah Pesach, where they said there was no kiddush on the second floor of the houses in Yerushalayim?
Oh, you want to say that?
Does that make a difference?
There, it's talking about this kedusha on the ground, right? But in the air is no kedusha. I don't know if it's the same require here. That's an interesting tzushta. Okay, fine. So then the next one is Vesu Yosef Rav Chisda v'Kamer made the nafshe. He said on his own pshat, Hadam Rachinu Mokum Tzarech Levarach Lo Yamarnu Ela B'Dvarim She'ein Te'unim Bracha L'Acharein B'Mekayma. That's only where it's something that does not require a bracha achrona in the place that you were. But something that does require a bracha in its place where you ate, ain't tzarech levarach, you don't need to. Why? Well, we'll explain this in a minute. My time because you're going back to your original kfiyas, meaning this whole thing, right? Once I then Rav Sheshes, someone Rav Sheshes is not mechalek. Right, meaning this whole thing. What is shinu makom? Shinu makom is pshat that when you make a bracha in place A, and then you change to place B in a different house, that's considered a separate. It's considered like a new drinking. So therefore, it's a new drinking. You need to make a new bracha, right? So Rav Chisda is saying that that's only for something that if you forgot to make a bracha achrona, then you don't have to go back, right? So then that's considered like it's something totally new. You don't have to go back there. So the new drinking someplace else is considered something new. But if the halacha is that you have to go back if you forgot, for example, with bread or cake, and the halacha is like if you forgot to bench, the halacha is you have to go back to where you ate to bench, right? So that means that wherever you drive, let's say you ate breakfast, and you ran out to go do errands, do whatever it is, do carpool, go shopping, and then you chop that you didn't bench, so you have to go back, right? Which means that entire time, since you have to go back to your original place, that means you're still in the middle of your meal. So that's not considered giving up on your das. So therefore, you don't have to make a new bracha. But if you don't have to go back and you could just make your bar nefashos in the car, so then that's what you're making a new drinking in the car is a total new. It's a new thing, so therefore you need to make a new bracha, right? So we paskin that for anything that requires ala michya or ala peres, you have to go back to make that ala michya. So therefore, you do not make a new bracha. So that's why you can wash at home and then you can go to your friend's house to continue the seuda, right? There's a major Purim. It's a major Purim sugya. It's going to be major sugya this year also with Erev Pesach Shechal B'Shabbos, right? Because what a lot of people are going to want to do is they're going to want to eat outside on the porch, let's say, the challah, and then go back inside for the seuda, right? So is that considered shina bmakom or not? So since it's for hamaitzi, so we say that you can start off in one place and end off in another place, and you're okay. You don't need new brachas, right? Because hamaitzi, you're mechuyev to go back to wherever it is that you ate, right? Same thing with a sukkah. Sometimes if it starts raining in the sukkah, so you don't have to make a new bracha when you go back inside, right? And for wine too, since wine you also make an ala geffen, right? So therefore, when on Purim, when you're bouncing from house to house, you would not need to make new brachas on the wine, right? Even though there are chalkim on that, and some say it's only mamish things that satisfy you. But whatever it is, so that's that shita, and that is the way we paskin. But the Ma'aser, the place can say it's better to have a piece of challah in the new place also. So if you're going to do this on Erev Pesach Shechal B'Shabbos and eat the challah outside, the best thing to do is to put a kezayis into your mouth outside, and then walk inside, and then chew it inside and swallow it like this. You mamish don't have any issues because you're going from outside to inside.
And do it in a way so your wife doesn't yell at you.
Correct. I don't say it right. Don't tell that to the women. Just do it on your own, right? But the shina bmakom, by the way, is also, and people are not aware of it. The shina bmakom for shahakal is even if you go back to the original place, you need to make a new bracha. The mashal, there's a package that gets delivered in the middle of your seuda. You're just drinking. You're having a drink in your house of shahakal. Then you decide to run outside and to get a package, or the garbage men are coming, so you want to run out, bring the garbage. Once you leave your house, you have to come back and you have to make a new bracha according to the Ikr Din, because that's considered like you already gave up on your original.
Doesn't make a difference if you have people still sitting at the table.
Oh, so that's gonna be the next Gemara. That's gonna be the next Gemara. That's gonna be a kasha from the next Gemara. That's yeah. So that's what we get into the whole thing.
By chasanas, comes up, right?
Chasanas and getting up to daven, to go to daven in the middle of the seuda, right? All those things. But I think we'll stop here, even though we're only halfway down, because it's a long kasha. It's an easy kasha, but it all goes straight into the next Amud. So I guess we'll stop here and then we'll continue tomorrow.
What in reverse also? Yeah. If you're in your backyard having a drink and you go in the house to get something to bring back out to the table, you have to make another bracha when you come back outside. I assume as well.
I think not, because that's considered, if you're already outside, the problem is going outside. Outside is like sort of, you're giving up on your original place. But once you're outside, to go inside is not it really is totally in what, if you're Masir Das from your original place, right? So
what happens if you keep your food in your mouth?
Oh, very good, Harold. If you keep your food in your mouth, that takes care of all the issues. If you keep the food in your mouth, then you would not have to make a new bracha. 100%. Yes.
There's the dentist wants you to keep candy in your mouth all the time, 24 hours a day.
Very good. There you go. But no, that's true. That's the way out. Like a lot of people want to drink a coffee in the morning, right? It's another thing that once we're on that subject, it's mamish. It's a very fine line. Meaning, some people know that this halacha is that if you're traveling, then it's not considered shinoag. Meaning, it's in my head that I'm going to be moving from one place to the next. That's not shina bmakom, because that was my das. That das only works is if you take a drink of the coffee in your house and you immediately leave, because then that shows that you were on the way. So that whole way is considered like your original kviyas. But if you sit down to drink the coffee in your house and read the paper for a few minutes, and then you plan on going into the car to shul, that's not called, that das doesn't work for shahakal at least. You see the difference? Meaning, unless you keep it in your mouth, Harold, if you keep the coffee in your mouth, then you have no shayla, then you don't be bracha. Again, if you're doing traveling, you can make the bracha in your house, but you have to immediately leave. To hang around your house for a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, whatever, I don't know what the gather is. I think it's immediate. If you then that's not considered a one big place, and you'd have to make a new bracha when you get to the car, and then when you leave the car and you go into the shul, you're gonna make another bracha, and you can mamish do meya brachas before you even get to shachris. But I'm not so sure you're getting the tzaddik of the year award though.
All on one cup of coffee.
So what if when you go outside, you're going onto your deck? Does that count?
So a deck with a fence is fine. That's considered part of your house. That's a place can say.
You need to make a
property
achrona in between.
What do you say?
A bracha achrona in between stops.
No, you wouldn't make a bracha achrona. No, you would not make it. No.
What if you go in your yard and you have a fence around it?
Most places can say a yard with a fence is also okay. Is also okay. Considered part of your original thing. Yeah. So like the major sugi, very interesting. You would think that the sugi should be in Masechta Brachas, that it's in Arvei Pesachim of all places. It's not even alluded to in Masechta Brachas. Yeah, what are you saying?
I was going to say you're about to leave on the road for a trip, and you wash in the bagel, so you're washing your house and whatnot. Is washing any different as far as the bracha goes into the car?
No, yes, yeah. Washing is no problem. Yeah, washing is. We're not talking anything that requires a bracha in the original place. Then if you move with the bread, it's not a problem. Right, because your original kfiyas gets continued.
Right. So you're only talking about with drinks and mezainis.
Shahakal. Now, no, mezainis.
Not mezainis. That's kibay seuda.
Mezainis has to do with same as hamoitzi. Right. We'll discuss it more tomorrow. We're going to get more into it tomorrow. This is just the tip of the iceberg with the sugya. Yeah. All right. Okay. Good enough, everybody. Yeah, I'm learning with him now. Okay.
Jaco, what's the guy looking for exactly?
I have no idea. They're looking for a restaurant. He's a Rosh Hashiva of Baba, you know what I mean?
Oh, I think someone called me. Did you ask me if you could stay in my place, or someone else asked me that?
I asked you about it.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, if he does he eat shara bar?
I have no idea. I didn't ask.
I'm saying kitchen 18 is the best you're gonna get, but if he doesn't eat shara bar, he's out of luck for the entire state of Arizona.
Right. I forwarded him that.
Yeah. This is a new what's it called? The rest of Bubba is asking you shilas. Yeah, that's
He's not asking me shilas. It's just asking me to find him a place to eat.
I mean, I'll make him dinner if he likes.
What?
I'll make him dinner if he wants. Does he like brisket?